I want you to show me how to get to know someone like you, someone like you. I want you to know me, 'cause I know then you'll see we could be true, we could be true. I want you to see what I see in us, something so real, something so real. I want you to see that this is a love that we both feel, that we both feel. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. That we're meant to be. We're meant to be. That we're meant to be. We've both been there before. When a love shuts the door, it's a losing game. It's a losing game. But this time it's more than another lot of war. This ain't the same. This ain't the same. They say love heals all. It makes it all alright. In time. In time. My heart still feels the breaking, but you make my world so bright. It feels so right. It feels so right. And how will we ever feel that what we've got is real? There's no denying. There's no denying. And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying. It's terrifying. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. That we're meant to be. We're meant to be. That we're meant to be. We're meant to be.
I give in to the lesser fight. My body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes. I'm reaching out for the easy high. Please fortify this strength of mine. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
phase boost. Yule Scepter of Divinity. Meteor Hammer. I cannot let you
Weakness echoes in my soul. Oh, it echoes in my soul.
Octarine Core.
My weakness comes
Radiance. Where to next? Do you think first blood? An arbitrary definition. To meet my end. No. I walk the hidden path. Your trail of victims means nothing to me, Max. You taste my flame. Yes, there I am. Is blunted. Cease your restless flow. With purpose. Good day of life. Curious, you rest well. Your death has consequence. Cut and run! Could it be otherwise? Your face. Mary chase you. The natural course. I abhor the blindness of the mortal plane. Moving when next you in the flame.
Flame lights the way. You be seared. The lesson was not. The scepter is mine. Be wary. Be cautious. On and on again. A warrior's way. Behold, lice chained in searing heat. Your place is here. Unfold, my The road is endless. Destiny awaits us all.
Making me strong.
Max charges.
Time moves
To the enemy.
I'm brothers and nations, and I've no patience. So won't you please making me strong, making me What can I do to make you think of me more? You make me
Into war's
making
teeth.
me stronger, making me stronger.
I proceed from deep within. From the arcade.
Let
I'm alone, I'm a broken home. I gave you all the bricks that I own and know. I'm letting go, I'm breaking these walls down, breaking these walls down. If you want adventure, then fly home. But if you wanna travel, then go alone. Yeah, what's the point in us if I never know? Yeah, if you're gonna leave, I'ma let you go. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired with yesterday. I fell where my demons dwell. My own little nightmare, I call it hell. Oh well, since I get back up, climbing and climbing, I'm this ride. What I tell myself, so I could feel something else. Yeah, I guess it was my bad days, but it doesn't mean I lost myself. Where were you when my heart was on the ground? I thought time would prove that you would stick around. I guess time stood still, a king without his crown. Now I'm breaking, you're faking, girl. You never made a sound. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm
They see me not. Character, assassin. Born to strange sights.
look away.
I have seen how this war ends. Time flows. Road to oblivion. Face forward. The march of time. My path unspools. Let's go. Portents ahead. I see this in my dreams. Yes. As was promised. So between us, the final ever.
Better are the strangers. Believe me when I say. I'm a lone wolf. Creeping through the shadows and the corners of your mind. I go where the wind blows. I run but I don't hide. I hear the call of the wild, whispering the name. No, I can't be tamed. My heart belongs to the night. I'm alone, I'm alone, I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf. I'm a lone wolf.
nights, need to rebuild myself to come alive. It all makes sense now, now that the lights out. It's a different world to me, it makes me feel down. Wait until the storm comes down, until sleep comes and makes it alright. Waiting for the morning
Well, no, this
Like, there's no hero in Dota that can operate the same without mana. So
and you can't itemize against it. Like, what
Yeah.
you have magic one, you're going to pop it once, still two illusions chasing you down. You might get one spell off.
Feels bad.
So it is going to be Nigma who are going to ban away the Omni Knight. We still have the Abaddon. We still have some high contention supports that are in the mix, like the Rubik that we mentioned earlier. I still believe in Dro lineups with Venge, and then Disruptor is like broken right now, it feels like. Lich, the 100% win rate for Team Nigma, their most picked hero right now. They're going to make sure they don't get that.
Yeah. Also, both of these teams really like their Rubik. So we'll see if either of them get that. Well, we start off with a nice and easy Abaddon. No surprise for Nigma over there.
Yeah, it's always good to have a Rubik against pretty much any heal, sustain. If you open up with it, like there's no real counter. A lot of good heroes still left in the pool. Depends where they want to shift. Like they can just straight up pick Drow Venge if they want to. Maybe have Disruptor instead to have more control for this Abaddon.
It's awkward because if they want Rubik, then do you really want to take Disruptor as well? Do you want to open up with both of your supports? I also like.
I wouldn't mind because you have like a guaranteed stun from Rubik. You have a lot of control. Most of the time when teams make a mistake, open up with both position 4 and 5. Let's say something like Tusk, Chen, where you can't really control heroes like Ember, Storm Spirit. This is where the problem comes from. But I think when you open up with, let's say, Disruptor and Rubik, it's still fine, but they go for Chen.
I like this a bit more because, well, now Nigma have the opportunity to pick up Disruptor, which is kind of scary. But I don't really like... Well, first of all, I really like Disruptor as a 4 position right now. Him being able to build up the Aghanim Scepter is great. I think his harassment potential against enemy carries is really good. But then on top of that, Abaddon represents so much team fight, and he's this great frontliner who just doesn't care about his positioning a lot of times that Disruptor just doesn't feel good about that concept, right? So they get this Chen, which is this amazing team fighting hero, mixed with the Rubik, which they're 100% gonna take because they love that. Plus they have the Rubik plus Chen combination, telekinesis into like a Centaur trap and that sort of deal. But there it is. There's the Phantom Lancer, nice and early.
Very early.
Yeah, so these two don't provide like any kind of good mid to late game control for PL. Fate Bolt is fine, but it's not as effective. So they just straight up ban Lashrak, one of the better heroes against PL and his illusions. Still Ember Spirit in the pool. One more ban left for Nigma.
I wonder if they can play like a really fast game on the side of GeeK fam and take Gyrocopter, who is good against Phantom Lancer up until, you know, that tipping point. But that's all Phantom Lancer games, right? About 30 minutes in, he starts getting one too many stat items. God forbid he gets the heart, then all of a sudden your AoE damage just, it tickles him. It just doesn't do ever enough. Maybe you could play a really fast game to counteract that instead. Because right now, I feel like Phantom Lancer is just one of those carries that is super hard to beat.
Yeah, I think a lot of these heroes who are not that popular got buffed from the neutral items. You get the 2 stat items. Suddenly, you become so much more stronger because your illusions need that HP. And Phantom Lancer is the perfect example for it.
A hero that we saw showing up yesterday for Nigma is Elder Titan for GH. Why would he fit in well with their lineup? Because they do like him a lot with the PL as well. Is that a combination that does something, I don't know, specific for that duo?
It's like one of those, it's a really good tower defending support, first of all. It's a good team fighter in general. There's also the minus armor aspect that comes from the Elder Titan that allows Phantom Lancer to execute those supports a bit faster, especially when he has Diffusal Blade and he's doing that extra physical damage from the mana burn as well.
There's still Disruptor in the pool. I think that hero is just too good, but they go with the Elder Titan. So far, they don't have like a guaranteed control. They're mostly counter-reactive to what they will be doing. Elder Titan, one of the better ones besides Earthshaker to just cancel the whole fight. Plus, you have Abaddon. I think you need something against this Timbersaw, like either like a Slark, Ursa, or something that builds into Spirit Vessel, because it's gonna be hard.
Oh yeah,
like your damage is pretty static.
It's going to be real hard. What I like about Elder Titan here is it's really good versus Chen, right? Just those extra units can add a lot to your spirit damage in fights. So especially for the laning phase, you feel quite effective. Like the ET is good against Chen. but they do not have, like, it's not an answer to Timbersaw because he has bonus armor from reactive armor, not base armor.
Yeah.
Right? So you actually don't take hardly anything away from him.
Slark goes to GeeK themselves.
We've seen this matchup so many times now.
It's the big Necro.
Well, that's a good laning phase counter, so we're going to have a 5 Abaddon with the Phantom Lancer, and then we're going to have the ET plus Necro. That is an oppressive lane for Slark to be playing. His Chen is not going to help him that much.
Yeah,
in that
they still
lane.
might swap things around, have Necro on mid if needed, Abaddon off lane, so options still available for them.
Is there anything that prevents them, like if the Baron is position 5, anything that prevents Nigma from picking up the Huskar for Weeha? Because that's probably the hero we're looking for. Otherwise, he's the one playing the Necro. But
you definitely want something that is very active. And Huskar does that for you. He's very similar into like his strength timings as Timbersaw, and that like he reaches a nice little peak. If he wins his lane, he reaches a peak at like 20 minutes where he just feels impossible to fight into, and that peak will create a lot of time. But Wind Ranger, I think, is a better option simply because you, with the magic damage builds, you can actually still kind of bring down Timbersaw. You think about it, a lot of attacks, yeah, it brings up reactive armor. Boney has the magic damage from Javelin and Mjolnir. It's okay. It's just a Weeha hero in general, and I think it's good against what I would imagine. If I'm GeeK fam, I would really like Lina here. I just like the burst damage. I like the magic damage against Necro. Yeah. I want to play fast as possible.
Yeah, I think that's a really good call. Like, you're also Yule Scepter Builder against Wind Ranger, extremely effective. You're also lacking, I'm not going to say initiation, but a little bit of
Titan.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Dire team ban.
Necrophos.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Radiant team pick. Dire team pick.
Wind Ranger at your service.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. select your heroes. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
You're not going anywhere.
Thank you, Shiva. Yes, this should be a great way to start the final day of the WePlay Minor, right? We've got GeeK Fam, we've got Team Nigma, and boy, we've got some interesting picks, Kyle. We have Nigma coming in, start off the day and saying, well, we hop back on your Wim Ranger. That's how we want to start this one off.
It's like they tested the waters, you know, experimented a bit, and realized, you know what, let's just go back to what we were doing a few months ago. That worked. Let's keep it up. And they even pick up the Necrophos as well, something we haven't seen thus far.
I mean, how do you sort of rate these heroes at the moment? Obviously, for instance, like the Wim Ranger, no one else is really playing it. Like, why could it work this game for Nigma? Other than the fact that obviously Weeha's going to be very comfortable on it.
It was the same as TI, right? It's just a lane dominator. It's a typical Weeha hero. You can just sort of snowball. You're not your hard carry, but merely a space maker, and specifically a playmaker. That seems to be the style they like putting him on, so that Miracle's free to play whatever carry his heart desires. In this case, it's Capsec, PL. One of the best carries here so far.
Was of course, you know, the PL as well. It was picked rather early, right? Which is fine. As you said, it's strong. Do you think GeeK Fam's done the right thing in response to it?
Yes and no. The problem is they don't have any scaling hero that deals with it properly. Like, Timber saw it to an extent, but I like having a hero that deals physical damage that eventually itemizes to kill illusions, like Ember Spirit as an example. I'm always a bit concerned, especially when you consider there's an ET in the game as well, along with the Abaddon. He'll have high survivability. You're going to have no armor on these GeeK Fam heroes. It'll be just Timber, and the way Nigma are going to play this game is to go away from him and always have the Scythe if needed once you get to those 5-on-5s from the Necro. It's dicey.
And we'll see. Have a bit of a skirmish to start things off, at least. Well, GeeK Fam just ensuring that they can secure this boundary. Actually, Kuro's going to come across. They're going to try and fight for this mind control. We'll be able to pick it up before they can get their hands on it. Weeha's also started off getting involved with this fight up top. They're looking for that first blood onto.
First, could be worse. The Wind Ranger gets the first.
Certainly say, finally, someone picks Elder Titan. It's one of his favorite heroes, and I also agree that it might be low-key broken, especially in a patch. Everybody's got a billion HP. Remove all their magical and physical armor later on in the game is incredibly useful, especially when you have a hero with crazy high magic damage like Necro.
Obviously with the lane setups from GeeK fam, they're putting Carl on that mid lane Timbersaw, a hero that's going to be able to sort of sustain any sort of harassment from the Weehar Wind Ranger, unlikely to end up feeding in that situation. The bottom lane, Miracle backed up by GH. It's going to look to run down Zephyr, and it's, as you say, GH already just punching hard and pushing Zephyr all the way back. One more hit will do it. GH, well, can I lie? He needed a second hit. The one alone was not enough, but still, you're seeing that. You've got to respect this man and his stapler.
Yeah, he's got naked brown boots, and he still forces 2 heroes out of lane just by, as you said, the big stapler punches. Top lane not going to be super easy either for GeeK fam, and they need a strong laning phase. One of the downsides of their support combination, including Cuckoo on the off lane, is that there's very limited damage output. It's a lot on the Slark and the Timber to actually carry throughout this game, and they also don't really have any natural methods of pushing towers. Jesus.
I mean, they're just not prepared for the Elder Titan. You know, Zephyr, he's dying under tower to it. That's how strong GH is showing it off to be at the moment.
Nah, I don't know what you're supposed to do about that. He's got 110 damage. He's level 1.
Oh, very impressive opening there to that bottom lane. Thanks to GH's presence. Should do a good job of securing Miracle some space for farms. Raven also getting space up top, though. The mid lane matchup, Carl, he's doing an excellent job.
Double damage.
Denied.
Could be worse. Oh, wait, no, it couldn't.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Stings, got it.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Denied.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
To my house.
My thrift rewarded. That should help.
fortified. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Every coin helps.
Radiant. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's turret has been Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Off.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified. Dire's top tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is fortified. Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Illusion.
bottom tower is under attack.
He's missed 3 or 4 on him already so far because he's very aware of what's happening. And, you know, Miracle, he's top net worth. You got to be confident as a Nigma fan if you see that. Not the typical Miracle hero matchup. Usually he's getting this last pick hero. This time they open with his hero. And you're hard countered by Timber, by Sand King. Your illusion's never really going to become that force to be reckoned with we've seen so often in this WEPLAY minor. You have GeeK though, that's the X factor.
Well, here we have the situation to they can shackle into play. With the ult, Hannah God's pop, it's not going to save him. They've just lost their biggest hero. What can they get in return? He's surrounded, he's stuck in the trees and will fall down to the epicenter. They get the revenge. They get anything more? Miracle, a little too far away for Raven to catch up. And in fact, Raven having a bit of an issue there with the illusion stunning, loses his own mana. And the Spirit Bomb thrown out. They still want to fight it. Raven's mana down low. Jumping for Kuku's they're going to turn. Look towards Miracle. It's out for GeeK. BKB's pop. Raven takes a lot of damage though, and his mana's gone. Pop Shadow Dance has to retreat. Can Nigma chase any further? Kuku and Raven very low in the mana pool. Them to respond, but they will get away in the tree lines, bring out. They'll stay safe, just a 1-for-1 between the mid laners. But of course, for a team that's behind, Nigma's going to be very happy with that.
Oh, for sure. And the support duo is starting to look real strong. Not the greatest in terms of actually getting things done in the early game, but ET, you're one of the best defensive heroes in Dota 2, and one of the greatest offensive supports as well. ET, once you get to that max out aura, all of a sudden Slark's base armor disappears. And you start to slaughter him with his PL. He's got the Manta online, starting to look real tanky. Once he grabs a heart, don't believe that just a Chakra will be enough to take out these illusions.
As the build's being done, Weeheart. MKB complete still. Very much faster than the average. So much for that rush. You saw as well as hero damage that's shown by Ghost of AI. It is hard. It's exactly what's necessary. He has to get these kills. He's got to be involved in bringing down these cores before it's too late. And they're beginning to stabilize the match a little bit, Nigma. It has been this 5k lead for GeeK fan, but it's been that for quite some time now. Nigma is starting to respond and starting to get together some sort of strength themselves.
You're going to start to see one of the issues. The Sand Sand King, Rubik, Chen all do not scale nearly as well as their counterpoints on Nigma. In addition, Sand King specifically, you start to fall off hard. Necro suddenly overtaken him by 1,000 gold in the net worth department, and Mind Control is going to scale hard as this hero, and it's also the late game answer to this Timber Saw. And they can just continue to buy time. Nigma's got to like their chances here. We're approaching 30 minutes, one of the slowest games so far at this tournament, only 12 to 11. Typically we'd see at least 30, 40 kills.
Definitely has to you know, you got to feel that GeeK fam, they're probably feeling the pressure a little bit. They were riding some brilliant momentum for the first 20 minutes or so. Now it's slowing down a little bit for them as Nigma. They'll get the tier 1 tower top. Shackle's there, latching the two of them, Kyle and Cuckoo together. They'll just throw the illusion, start to burn some mana. They're backing away. Weehar's already out with the TP. Does not want to stick around for the fight here. Can GeeK fam punish any of the members left behind? They've got the vision onto Mind Control in the trees, set up with the Power Strike. He's trying to come over on the abandoned Kuro to help out, but Mind Control, he's already dead and gone. Kuro, I don't think he could escape this. They have the Yule setup, and on top of them they go. GeeK fam, they'll get the two of them. A failed retreat from Nigma cost them 2 lives.
I was about to start praising Nigma for the way they like pushed and pulled. You know, you don't want to take that fight as GeeK fam if Nigma formed this concentrated ball, but then Mind Control just takes the wrong left and runs up. Kuro forced out of position to try and help him out. The rest of the team was safe. I'm no idea why he went up there. It's not as if hiding in the trees is ever going to save you. You're against a Timber Saw. Rubik with a shackle shot is not where you want to be.
Still, you know, despite the farm starting to catch up on the cause of Nigma, the level difference is very much apparent on the cause. You know, the levels for the cause of GeeK fam, 19, 19, 17. Over on the side of Nigma, 19, 16, 15. Miracle's still there at the top, but Weehar and Mind Control, they just haven't been able to get the space. The only moves and plays they've been able to is that as a unit. They cannot go alone because they're so vulnerable to the jump and catch of GeeK fam.
Yep. You do always have a Ruin Ranger, though. It's a deceptively powerful net worth because you're really just single target damage, as we in this game. You don't need many items to be able to kill somebody. Usually just the MKB and the BKB to allow you to just chase after someone, most likely Cuckoo. You're going to be able to kill him by yourself in the span of 5 to 10 seconds, like this move from GeeK fam. Immediately into the Roche. Radiant are going to scan it out, but I don't think they're going to make it in time. Maybe.
If they can get a certainly, GH. Not quite able to do so in time. GeeK fam will claim it. Aegis going the way of Raven. And of course now queuing up the Aghanims. He's about halfway towards it in gold.
Just not sure at what point this GeeK fam lineup is strong enough to go high ground. They've maintained this 6,000 or so gold lead for the last 10 to 15 minutes, but it's not growing. And as we discussed, like this, the 3, 4, 5 positions, I'm not as concerned with the core matchups because I feel like Nigma's supports, they're just going to scale so well throughout this game, whereas Rubik Chen, they're just not going to provide too much here. And again, Cuckoo sinking, you've got a Veil, you'll be tanky, you'll be durable, but outside of a stun, you're not offering much in an engagement.
Top Mind Control trying to have a poke around that outpost. He has got back up in the area. Still Carl, very hard for Nigma to really make a play on the Timber. They still have to sort of ignore him unless he massively overextends. We'll see what they can do with the 4 of them in this area. Weehar, money pretty much there for his BKB to be completed, and no lockdown of course from GeeK fam through that magic community, so we can pop the focus fire, the BKB, and confidently take one of these heroes down from 100 to 0.
Who cares if Wee's only got that second item? He's got 2 free ones thanks to Ice Frog, the Growth Bow and the Enchanted Quiver, so even though his net worth is not looking so hot, he's still got a nearly max capacity inventory.
Yeah, that's true. Both of those synergize very nicely. Having that, you know, reduced magic resistance on the target, and then the magic procs from the quiver, from the MKB, it all adds up.
Yeah, and then you have a ET with the Kraken Cloak and a Dragon Spell.
Yeah, and the ET bringing the magic resistance down even more.
Exactly.
So, you are going to see these heroes melt. BKB and a focus fire, most heroes will die to Weehar and GH being eliminated.
And there's not much lockdown on GeeK fam. Well, there is, but it's all removable by Kuro. He'll easily be able to shield off whoever gets jumped on. And outside of the Sand King Rubik stuns, like there really isn't much left. You want to continue to steal Shackle if you can on the Rubik. It's done a good job so far, Zephyr has, but starting to get antsy. I feel it. You know, this is a position Nigma's been in how many times throughout their careers? TI 7, 8, 9. This is the style they like to employ. Miracle top of the net worth charts, play around him. 4 supporting heroes that all scale quite well. Strong itemization to bolster their team fighting.
Time for the smoke move from Nigma. See who they're able to catch out. DD Rune is looking appealing, and it looks appealing for Raven. Raven jumps forward, the shackle won't connect. Raven immediately posts the shadow dance, looks to turn. Weeha's caught on the front. The shield will save and Kuro. Give away on the front to put the peak, giving the focus guys, but still there on Raven. So Raven will be shot down at once. They took the edges away. Reaper's side out to Dubu buys back immediately. Shackle shot again, won't quite latch. Raven's able to pounce out to safety. As Carl, he's trying to stay on top of Kuro, the front fight, starting to get split up. One more spell connection will finish on Kuro, but quite get it. The shackle off the mark, back in the center of the wall, the stolen side, it takes Weeha down, he's dead for 75, as Zephyr makes the big kill happen, coming in hot, as they'll cut down Kuro, but that really was the big one, able to grab that side steal out of Mind Control's toolkit and then slam it straight back down onto Weeha. Even trying to poke a little further, Miracle will manage to doppelganger away, but some very, very heads-up plays there from GeeK fam that secure them this clear minute to get aggressive and not worry about any sort of mid defense.
Yeah, really nice engagement there, though. You can see, however, how threatened Raven is by this Weeha Wind Ranger. Even though he had BKB popped, he still had to pounce away. Goes down, and quirky interaction. He respawned after Aegis, and the Wind Ranger still has the buff of the ultimate, so he had to actually exit the fight. Luckily, his team was there to help turn it around. And as you said, the stolen sight to finish it off. Final tier 2 will fall. Nigma now only with their base towers left to defend.
Just when it was starting to seem that Nigma were really able to hold on to the game and potentially look to begin to turn it around, GeeK fam, they say no. A bad fight taken by Nigma around that middle lane, deciding to go when, of course, the Aegis was still there. Always a bit of a bold call, and it does not pay off for them.
Yeah, it's actually Nigma that might have some damage issues, at least for this phase of the game, just because it's a PL with all these counters up against it. You got a Shivas on the Timber. I'm sure Sam can get a point will get an armor talent.
Oh, setups here, trying to step forward, offer up a shield, but it's not soon enough. Mind Control will fall. As Weeha.
Nice, they saw the shield. It's huge.
He's trying to sort of turn and head into Carl, but Carl could just not be dealt with right now. Burrow strike out to Miracle and his army of illusions. Miracle, he's got to run. He's got to be careful. The shield from Kuro helps him out. And Carl's now punching onto the tier 3. GeeK fam approaching the high ground. 30 seconds still without Mind Control. The splitter will be thrown out. It's off the mark though. Carl easily able to juke it out. Doesn't even make any sort of connection on the bad lines. Dubu's still got his army good to go. It's a push in with. They want the fortification. Miracle, he's caught out by the powers. Do they have to follow? Raven staying on top of him with the shadow dance. Another double will save him. Miracle can escape. But look at Carl just diving behind the tier 3s up to the tier 4s, bullying Nigma away from his defense.
But there's no magic damage. Owen, how do you kill him? He's got 52 plus armor.
They're slowly burning his mana. As now, just with the mana left for a Timber Chain, Mind Control back in the game and does have Scythe. Nigma, can they get a catch? He's on top of Dubu. Miracle, he's actually going straight past it. He's looking for the bigger one. Cuckoo will be the focus. Cuckoo holding on to the Burrow strike down into the river. Miracle turns towards Dubu instead. Doppelganger's out. The illusions burn his mana. Dubu's stuck in the pit. They'll lose the chain. Can he pass everyone else? Raven, he actually jumps in for this. He's got the BKB, pounces out, but he's got to run. Miracle, he's going to turn his attention back towards Carl and Cuckoo. Look to make sure that they haven't got the mana to play around with. Another jump forward. Miracle looking towards the Sanku. The stun's there. The side's out. Cuckoo's gone for 2 minutes. He does have buyback if he wants to get back and involved in this river fight that will continue to go on. Another pounce for Raven gets him over the wall of the Roche pit. He'll escape. And this time Nigma forcing GeeK fam back. After GeeK fam were getting incredibly aggressive there on that high ground, Nigma are able to defend, to keep their tier 3 alive, and they end up getting a hefty kill, taking Cuckoo out of the game for 2 minutes, in which he's probably not going to want to buy back, so they've got a lot of space around the map to start catching back up.
And you can see just how stuck they've been inside that base. They finally have picked up their final tier 3 item. It took a long time to be able to get a neutral camp in their coffers, and that's the kind of fight you want as Nigma. A long, drawn-out war of attrition, covers a lot of ground and territory. No one's going to get burnt out. Oh, Carl, hold up.
I guess he didn't think they were still around as the blood Bloodstone heal will not save him. Carl just feeds his life away.
Just meandering through the river. Walks on the reward.
I guess he expected them to go back, but I mean, with Sankey still dead, as we said, Nigma was always going to stay out on the map.
Maybe he just felt indestructible, right? It's tempting. He played his entire game just with no fear. Sort of lulled himself to sleep, and he pays the price. That's a huge kill. That gives some towers.
They're going to get at least a tower or two here, Nigma. 2 cores dead on GeeK Fam in a game that they've been holding the lead for the most part, but as you say, these towers are still there for the taking. This is free money on the map, so Nigma can pick up and close the gap.
They still have Wind Ranger ultimate. You could theoretically go up towards high ground, but nah, they're going to get the tier 2 instead. I gotta guess that they feel confident, right? We've discussed the late game edge that their 3, 4, 5 positions are going to give them. You're now equalizing the tower disparity, and you got to be feeling good if you're Nigma. Love that choice. Kuro gets the Vlad just to help his team do a bit more damage. Next, we'll go for the Ags to ensure that nobody dies in the duration of, say, an epicenter. This is looking good. GeeK Fam back against the wall, even though they're the ones with the lead. That butterfly on PL, he is legitimately indestructible now.
He is. Miracle is, you know, sort of throughout the chaos of the whole game, he's stayed at the top. He's made sure that his own game has not been hindered. He's 1-0-7. He's never joined a bad fight.
Are scanning.
And it's really paying off now in terms of the power that he brings. You know, Raven still himself as the Slark, his game equally as clean. Yeah. You know, 5-0-5. I mean, both of these carries, some of the performance we've seen from them at this LAN, have, you know, they've just sort of been a step ahead of the position ones on many of the other squads.
So what's crazy is he went for a fighting build, right? He went hood into defusal. We've seen typically when PLs play this way, just rushing Manta, but he didn't even have the hood anymore. He's still this farmed. Dubu's I don't think so.
I think it's still on cooldown. As Dubu, indeed, he is dead. No chance to get back in and help the rest of the team. Carl's going to start to push them back. The Stolen Shackle shot does come out with the shield from Kuro onto Miracle. Safe, mind control as well. Not the target that they want to jump on immediately. They do try for a bit of a move, but with the Shroud and the heal up, mind control's more than able to step back. GeeK Fam, they're still trying to finish this. Miracle's going to turn with the Raptor. They've got over the Bullstone onto We Are with the side stand down. Both supports now dead and gone. Raven pops the BKB in the shadow. That's behind the red. Carl is dying to the focus fire. He still does not have buyback. He's dead for 90. He doesn't have the money. He's 1,200 gold short on the Timber Saw as they're really starting to slip up.
And you can see they're getting a little desperate. Sanking has a Radiance. GeeK Fam thought this game was going to end a hell of a lot faster. They had that second round of BKB on the Slark. Timber getting the full pipe as his first item. Now you've got to go back for items that deal with the illusion, but it's too late. They're all going to have 3,000 plus health. You're going to have an Aegis on top of it. Miracle just riding the backs of his team. And we have a pause.
We do. Bit of the old lag.
Oh god, what an impressive time for it though, as Roshan begins the death throes.
Well, what can they do? What can they do against this PL? We saw, you know, Nigma, they picked it second up. That's the confidence they had, and that sort of confidence, you know, we're seeing it in the play. It's absolutely flawless showing so far from Miracle. And in a game where GeeK Fam, they had that momentum. As we say, it was like 25 minutes in. GeeK Fam had pretty much taken all the tier 1s, all the tier 2s, and lost nothing themselves. It felt like all the control, all the favorite, the sort of momentum and the chance to close this game, it was going the way of GeeK Fam. But it seemed like they draft their lineup, it just sort of ground to a halt. A few bad fights, and now starting to slip up, starting to make these mistakes where Nigma's suddenly catching these kills, getting these freebies on their own. I mean, if you're GeeK Fam right now, you've got to seriously have a strong talk and think about how you're going to get this game back in your grasp.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, Owen. It felt, you know, you got to assume Nigma was comfortable with the way that this game started, because we are too, right? Fans at home, you've seen this before. It almost felt like just scorched earth. Like, let our towers fall. Let's just retreat. Let's waste some time. Miracle, you keep farming. Eventually, we're going to get that opportunity. We're going to be able to turn this around, and suddenly we'll be the ones in control of the tempo. And I got to say, like, it's still not over by any means. Oh, no. GeeK Fam, they've got to find openings, and it's so difficult just thanks to that Abaddon. You have no cleanse mechanic on this Dire side outside of Slark's ability to Dark Pact himself. But if Kuro's in the vicinity, who cares if you're lifted? Who cares if you're stunned? That hero will be able able to survive. If it's Wii, he'll be able to pop the BKB. If it's anybody else, they'll use their spells, cooldowns, escape mechanics, and there's just no method of properly 5-on-5ing and getting an entry kill. And that's a huge edge. That's why we see a Baden first picked in this game overall. We saw Omni Knight from RNG yesterday.
Yeah,
overall
these two heroes.
Like, there's no real replacement to them.
No, I mean, sort of, well, the other hero that we sometimes have dabbled with has been like the Legion, but already it's just sort of night and day, right? How strong those heroes seem to be. You know, Omni and Abaddon are just still on that another level when you feel the need to have some sort of saving hero, which pretty much is 90% of the games of Dota 2.
Yep.
I always want to have that backup.
I really love the itemization as well. They got the Solar Crest, the Vlads, the Pipe, a couple of Force Staffs, the Nigma trademark. You'll never see them play a game without at least one of them, often two. So they obviously maintain their focus even through the slight delay. GeeK still waiting to reconnect.
And we have, of course, the meme admin there, just checking out the Twitch chat, making sure you're all behaving at home.
Probably not.
Almost certainly not. But we wouldn't have it any other way. Come with the game. 40 minutes now. GeeK fam, the numbers still in their favor in net worth, but the last kind of 10 minutes of play, it just felt pretty weak from them.
Yeah. It reminds me, there's some interview Seb gave, I think it was recent, about how he thinks that the net worth, that little button up top, was actually super detrimental to the community's understanding of the game, because to quote him, net worth means nothing. Timings are Dota. It's the ability to fight. What can you actually do with your advantage? Because if the answer is nothing, well, are you really ahead?
Up to the high ground they go. They do have the repair kit, so they got something to slow this down a little bit and help deal with the illusions. With that multi-shot coming out from the tower, but still, Miracle with the butterfly, the heart, the Aegis. Are you really killing him even just the once right now? And if the rest of the game has been anything to go by, the answer is no.
Clinical, take tier 3, retreat, grab the shrine, push out lanes. This maneuver, this is what you've got to do as GeeK fam. Timbersaw is going to TP to bottom. You've got the Chen to pull him back if needed. But for now, just try and get somebody out on the map to make things happen. But again, there's just no offensive item build. I was critical of Miracle for buying a hood. I feel like I've got to say the same about the way that these three cores on GeeK fam have itemized. You rushed these fighting items, nothing that really helps you scale. We saw again from, I believe it was RNG as well, first item Maelstrom on a Slark against the PL. I thought maybe that would be something we'd see here, but Echo Saber right into BKB, Scotty, Maelstrom, a lot of survivability, but they're having major damage issues. As we discussed, you just can't kill anybody with Kuro nearby. You've got to change that if you're going to take this game.
It really does just get to the point where their answers to PL feel incredibly limited. They're having to sort of itemize in those unorthodox, sort of less than ideal ways, because they don't just straight up have the hero counters. At least it doesn't feel at least they have got AoE, but the Sand King, the Timber, that sort of damage, it is starting to scale down. It's just not stepping up at the same rate. The sort of the PL's power levels increasing with his heart, with his butterfly.
It's important to note, it's not that PL is nigh indestructible. It's what the team built around him can do to keep him alive and to boost the damage output. Weeha, even though his net worth is still like he's last place in terms of all the cores in this game, but his damage output's still so high that he can threaten kills, which is something GeeK fam can't really do right now. We saw even the Timbersaw had to run from him once the ult started getting channeled under the cover of his BKB.
And you said yourself, you pick the Wind Ranger to sort of just, it deletes a hero, right? It's all about a single target, and that's exactly what Nigma needs. If Wind Ranger is able to take one hero out, suddenly Nigma have the number of advantages, and that's when a PL fries, because you just do not have the resources to contain him as he constantly stays on top of you. If they just walk up, they're taking the racks in. As GeeK found, what can they do to slow this one down? Another repair gets popped.
It's just so ridiculous. He's tanking through the Radiance and the Sandstorm damage, and the rest of his team is just casually in the mid lane.
Carl does come in to try and cut the creeps and put a stop to this push. And that will keep the rack safe for now. They are out of creeps for a little bit of time. Carl is going to pay with his life though, and he does not have buyback. Again, dead for 100. Carl cannot be back for the defense. He still remains short of gold. He hasn't saved up.
You could just go for throne here, perhaps. Like, look, GeeK fam can't fight. The illusions alone are forcing them back into their fountain. Help me out, man. What do you do?
So, I mean, it's sort of looking back, it feels like this game may have ended for GeeK Fam, you know, about 20 minutes ago. As Nigma, they've built up this way, the draft. It was all about getting this point where the PL is untouchable. And now Raven, he's able to pass away, pop the shadow dance. He's trying to come out to Kuroki. Can he actually get anything out of this? He turns his attention towards GH, but we are chasing him out of shackles there. Raven is dead. The buyback, Cuckoo's gone. He'll also have a buyback available, but it's only the three of them that can try and hold. The full 5-man of Nigma is still alive. Nigma, they're just moving on to the tier 4s. They weren't stopped when they were taking the racks, and it's going to be so hard for them to be stopped when they're taking the tier 4s and the Ancient.
I'm trying their best. Oh, it's too little too late.
Everything has just fallen into place perfectly for Nigma. Despite GeeK Fam's seemingly great start to the match, it just was not great enough. The window for Nigma to take this victory, despite being behind in gold and in map control and in towers, the majority of this game, it's all fallen back over to their side now. The 2 sets of racks are gone. GeeK Fam will live to see another day, but the way that the momentum's been for the majority of this game now, it's very hard to see a way out of this for GeeK Fam now.
It's one of the big advantages this team has, right? The wealth of experience, the time they've spent together. Nigma, we saw them yesterday play incredibly fast to the tournament. Same with their group stage match against Fighting Pandas with that Furion. They know how to crush a game, but they also know how to just take it slow, relax. Miracle didn't even hit a hero after the laning phase until about 30 minutes in. They had no problem with that. They're very comfortable whatever style of Dota their draft forces them into. Gonna take some outposts, pretty critical lead. They've got 2 racks. Now just do the slow march down bottom. They're still a tier 1. Half HP. This is I'm not sure the answer is no buybacks available right now for GeeK Fam, and they're just doing the slow march of doom. I hear the Emperor's music playing now.
It really feels with the position Nigma's in now, they can sort of just A-click down the lanes as their draft, you know, it's sort of the rock to GeeK Fam's scissors. There's just no answer from GeeK Fam's heroes.
Yeah. Here we go. 8K gold lead, but feels like the advantage is significantly more just based on the way these hero matchups play out. As GeeK Fam forced inside their base. One final hold, one final fight.
DD on Miracle, a consumed Moonshard, a completed Abyssal Blade, level 26. And up they go again. GeeK Fam, they couldn't defend the mid racks, they couldn't defend the top racks. Is anything going to be different down bottom? It's Carl, steps forward, Miracle, will just turn straight towards him. As Carl is trying his best to clean out the illusions, but he just cannot do so. He does not have the damage. It's gone. Miracle's just going to hit the racks. GeeK Fam, they're running around. Oh no. A bit of a failed Jules into a Power Strike combo there, does nothing at all. Miracle back to focusing on the racks. Stomp out on Cuckoo, we are coming from the side. The shackle's there, the Sand King's going to get taken down low. By the side, still just a Power Strike off of Miracle. He's there behind the racks, taking them down. Cuckoo's dead without buyback. Raven shouted on to pop, but he has to retreat. He just has nothing. He does not have the damage required to take down anyone during his BKB and Shadow Dance right now. This bottom racks, they will fall as GeeK Fam, I think it's best to say they're just thinking about what they're going to do differently next game right now.
Megan's acquired. Still, GeeK Fam desperately trying to hang on, but nothing to defend here unbound.
No. As Nigma, a solid showing here in this game, and one that GeeK Fam, you know, they really pushed them on. GeeK Fam's opening looked like that it was all going to be going their way. They were hitting timings, they were playing very fast. But the fact of the matter was that Nigma, you could tell that at the end of the day with this draft, they had a solid plan to allow Miracle to carry the game with the back.
I want you to show me how to get to know someone like you, someone like you. I want you to show me how to get to know someone like you, someone like you. I want you to know me, 'cause I know then you'll see we could be true, we can be true. I want you to see what I see in us, something so real, something so real. I want you to see that this is a love that we both feel, that we both feel. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. That we're meant to be. We're meant to be. That we're meant to be. We've both been there before. When a love shuts the door, it's a losing game. It's a losing game. But this time it's more than another love war. This ain't the same. This ain't the same. They say love heals all. It makes it all alright. In time. In time. My heart still feels the breaking, but you make my world so bright. Feels so right. It feels so right. And how will we ever feel that what we've got is real? There's no denying. There's no denying. And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying. It's terrifying. And how will we ever know if the love will ever grow without trying, without trying? And how will we ever see if we are meant to be? It's terrifying, it's terrifying. That we're meant to be. We're meant to be.
satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes. I'm reaching out for the easy high. Please fortify this strength of mine. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes. Echoes in my soul. My weakness comes and goes. It goes, it goes. My weakness echoes in my soul. Oh, it echoes in my soul. My weakness comes and goes. It goes, it goes.
so fast, all tied up like a captive. I'm on to you. Used to play to my mind like standing on rainbows, playing it cool. I haven't felt this in ages, and I've no patience. So won't you please stay a bit longer? You're making me stronger, making me stronger.
Dire team ban.
So let's see if GeeK can do something. Oh, I actually find it very interesting to see the Elder Titan banned out first phase. We know that the last 3 games that Nigma has played, they had GH on the Elder Titan, but they pick him up second phase. It's not like it's first phase material.
Yeah, and once you got that Spirit Vessel, it was kind of a late, but it's still efficient against the Timbersaw.
Mm-hmm.
The one problem that Nigma had with their draft in the previous one was they didn't have good heroes to push the waves with, especially from the supports. Like you have this position 5 Abaddon who doesn't anything in terms of pushing, and he is some damage, but not what you usually expect from someone. Like if you compare him to Rubik, who steals the power shot, like he completely clears the wave in 1 second.
It's like in that situation, you're not going to have a hero that can stand toe-to-toe against Timbersaw at 20 minutes in, but you needed a hero like that could stand toe-to-toe to Slark, that you could push the Slark out of the way so you could push in a wave. But as it was like they had all 3 waves pushed in at all times. What I do like about GeeK Fam's lineup from last game is it was the mobility aspect of those heroes. I'm a big fan of mobility in this patch. I think being able to move your heroes around the map very quickly to do certain things, controlling outposts, getting shrines, rotations to be able to outnumber the enemy in team fights, be able to win that fight and then turn into a tower push. I think that mobility can be really key, and one of the reasons that IO is a strong pick at this tournament.
Yeah, one of the reasons why we see him banned out as often. I feel like this this whole tournament has been about, well, the regen, obviously, and on top of that, just map control, being all over the place. We've seen mind control picking up that Nature's Prophet so many times, and no surprise, we've seen it banned against Nigma most of the times now as well. And yeah, I feel like that's kind of been the story.
Yeah,
I'm
wondering which hero mind control will play this game.
Yes.
Like, he's been playing a lot of weird stuff. I don't think he necessarily enjoyed it playing Necro. It's fun when you have some kind of burst damage on your team, and if you're having a good early game, but he didn't have none of those two.
It almost feels like, in a way, that Nigma are trying to figure out what offlaners they can run in this patch, because there are so few top-tier ones. You know, you're going to see Doom banned, maybe Omni and Abaddon banned away as well. We had one game where all three were banned in the first phase, but like outside of that three, who do you feel good about? We've seen Legion Commander 1-2, but we've seen a lot of Legion Commander losses. It's true. You know?
I would imagine that one of these... Actually, you can just have these be Precision 4-5.
They left out the Doom.
Yep. Doom picked up by GeeK fam. And the Rubik there, too.
I think that's cool. When you're one game up, you're like, Nigma's plan is to win this tournament and go to the major, right?
Not necessarily to win the series, you mean?
Yeah, exactly. So you got to be thinking like really far ahead. Kuro's one of those guys who always is thinking ahead. You got to figure out if you can leave Doom out there in the pool. Being able to have an answer to it is a significant win for your matchup against RNG. And if you go to the major, in turn, it'll be a big strategic advantage there as well. So they answer it with Abaddon Earthshaker, which I don't...
Abaddon is fine. I don't mind, because he is kind of the primary target. Otherwise, you will just be Aphotic Shield using Coil to heal the Doom target. And I like the approach that the Nigma had in their series against Gambit, the third game, where they had Abaddon and OD. So they were cycling those saves. They were also playing against Doom, so he doesn't have a clear target.
Why do you think Earthshaker, though? That's the hero that I'm just kind of like, is that good against Doom? I don't think so. I don't feel like Earthshaker has been great enough at this tournament to pick up early.
Depends where you're fighting. If he just lands a good Fissure to block the enemy team off while one of his teammates is doomed, that's completely fine.
I cannot... it's a good Rubik game. Yeah, you're matched up against Earthshaker Fissure is an amazing steal. You always like it versus Abaddon, but I really wish they had gone for Disruptor instead. I love having Disruptor Doom.
Yeah, this is what I saw in the previous patches. Some of the teams were struggling with. You have, when Lifestealer was a super popular pick, you have this Doom who pops the ulti, and they just run away. They're too speedy, so you need to have a good catch. You need to have mobility heroes who can follow Doom up, especially if he decides to go for a Blink Dagger at a certain point. So you need heroes to play with. Can't just Doom the target and hope for the best.
Speaking of Lifestealer, I think it's still a good hero versus Doom, because now your Infest can actually save an ally.
Yes.
With that big increase in HP that you're giving them. And then on top of that, in the laning phase, you stand toe-to-toe against the very few carries feel good about Scorched Earth Doom running at you. But Lifestealer, because Doom is a high HP hero with low armor, you're actually able to keep up your sustain really nicely. We saw that somewhere early in the tournament. I don't remember what game it was.
Got a Huskar band coming out, as well as the Weaver removed. Ooh, instant Weaver bat pick.
Weaver, huh?
Okay. I mean, it's good versus, like, as a laning phase matchup, it's good versus Abaddon and Batrider.
There aren't many good heroes against the Batrider left in the pool, like Lifestealer. Do we even call Jug still a good hero just so that he can spin off the stickies?
Oh no,
not really.
not even against in the perfect matchup am I down to see a Jug pick up, but it is traditionally one of the good ones. I would kind of like to wrap up and just like go Lifestealer and OD for Nigma.
I was surprised OD is still in the pool.
A pretty good lineup to counter Doom. Obviously, we haven't seen anything else from GeeK fam, but
And now that Huskar is banned out, should you also be worried about the TA? If you're, well, both teams actually.
There's still Drow Ranger Venge in the pool if they want to shift towards that.
They're taking their time.
What's cool about this is that the Bat Rider can be a support and the Abaddon can both be a support. So it is still open enough that GeeK fan probably needed the extra time.
Same goes for Earthshaker. So they have 3 heroes who can be played at multiple roles. Oh, wow.
That is
Okay, well.
That's a cuddle.
That is a combination of team fight and catch that Keeper of the Light gives you with his ball and stuff. Maybe it's a decent hero against Bat Rider in the way you want to play. I don't know.
Well, I can tell you that Miracle on his Ember Spirit has not lost a game this tournament yet.
Yeah.
5 seconds.
So that will be a tough one to deal with. How do you deal with an Ember Spirit? You've been talking about how good it is to have mobile heroes all across the map. Ember Spirit kind of embodies that a lot as well.
Production, let's go. And yeah, they go for that lifestealer that we talked about. Not too many options left after the Bat Rider. Even if it's a position 5 Bat Rider, he can still cripple you and you lose the lane just because of the matchup. You don't necessarily need to play bad.
Can we have this as draft music like the whole time?
Get it. Kundalini.
10 seconds remaining.
Dude.
5
Cuddle's got some serious drip going on.
Really
Do you see that? He's got like gold gauntlets.
He does. Shiny gold even.
I think he got all that gold in the previous patch where he was super popular.
Yeah. Where everybody was just rushing refresher. Remember that? Oh, that was a terrible time.
Are we liking the Keeper of the Light and the Lifestealer though?
Yeah, I mean they needed something that can match up against the Bat Rider. It's also good whether they want to put Abaddon. He's gonna have an okay time. Against Ember Spirit, they have an okay catch. Will-O-Wisp, Rubik's Lift, Doom. But we talked about the Fissure, the efficiency of it, especially if played around those small areas where you don't have enough space to pass.
I don't know if I'm loving their lineup just because I don't feel quite good enough about the lockdown against the Ember. But they do have, well, now you could still run side lane Ember Spirit, right? Yeah. And then a different mid. You can run. Who would you want to run here?
They banned out TA.
Yes.
It would fit their lineup so perfectly. They could go for objectives. TA comes online fast.
Is OD not still in the pool? I can just go OD.
5 seconds remaining.
Or is it not good?
I'm pretty sure OD is still in the pool. Yes. I don't know if it's good because this lineup runs at you quite a bit. I'm not sure if OD would come online quite fast enough.
Go Ags and just put everybody under. They can't run at you then. I don't know though.
What else can you run?
Should they be worried about having things to deal with the Will-O-Wisp, or is that fine? Like something with a higher attack speed?
Yeah, they don't have any high attack speed heroes at the moment. No natural BKB buyers. Ember does not want to buy it early on. There's always a better choice for him.
To be honest, most of the time when it comes to Will-O-Wisp, you ignore it and just get out of the field.
Just ignore it. That's it.
It's like it feels too detrimental to try and attack it because you're running further into the center of it
to try and stop it.
Yeah, so you're grouping up more and stuff like that. It's just most of the time you just like get me the hell out. And they're mobile enough heroes that they should be able to get out pretty quickly.
Oh, they go for the Wind Ranger again. You guys are both quiet, not
convinced. We're gonna see the Wind Ranger and Lina matchup again. I just don't know like what is the. I was trying to decide like what is Nigma's win condition in this matchup if they needed to play it like faster or slower. Just because Lifestealer is kind of weird because I don't think Lifestealer. I personally don't like Lifestealer 1. I like it a lot as a 2 position. I think it makes a much better use of your infest. So the Lina pickup, yeah, it's a faster hero. You have this mid matchup potentially against the Ember Spirit until the Wind Ranger got picked up. There was some good things about it, but I thought you wanted more of a harder carry. So for Nigma, I don't think you had to worry about, once the Lina was picked up, I don't think you have to worry about trying to outscale this lineup too much, just because you don't have any faith in Lifestealer carrying games by himself. So
yeah, Lina is more of a utility. You can still switch the damage if you feel like Lifestealer is not having an okay time. But this mobility from Wind Ranger, I love it. Like, whether you're playing against a Lifestealer, you are forcing him to buy. I mean, today, yesterday we saw, who was it? Setsu going for Maelstrom first item. So you have this ability to proc through evasion, and if she gets the Wind Run before the Doom, like that's really big.
Yo, yeah,
it's hard to manage for Lifestealer, like against the Focus Fire, against the Wind Run at the early stages. So I'm loving the Wind Ranger.
I would feel better if they had Disruptor over Call on this side. Like, it's a guaranteed catch. I'm just not sure if Lewis is good enough for that. We'll see.
But you guys don't seem like confident there's going to be a 3rd game of the series.
I'm not confident, just because, again, I don't really like Lifestealer so much. I think they have a decent number of answers to Doom as a core right now with the event pickup, and then you already pointed out the Wind Ranger. They've got Ember Spirit, who, you know, is fairly mobile. They don't have like a ton of instant catch for him, because Will-O-Wisp has a slight triggering time, right?
Which one person are we going to look at to see if GeeK Fam can make this a 3rd game?
For me, I think Cuckoo really needs to go off on the Doom. He needs to be able to win his match. And he needs to find those catches on the Ember Spirit if he can. That's a very sick kill. His initiation is going to be really important.
All right, all eyes on the Doom. Let's see if he can earn his credit back to be the first phase ban Doom that we've seen almost the entire tournament. Let's head over to OD Pixel and Kyle for game number 2.
Thank you, Shiva. Yes, this game too, we're seeing some similarities, some differences. Of course, the Wind Ranger is going to make another appearance. Did obviously end up working out for Nigma in game 1. Other sort of changes up. Miracle, he's on another one that we've seen him perform time and time again on this LAN. He is back on the Ember Spirit. You got to be a little worried about if you're GeeK Fam, or do you feel the GeeK Fam this time, you know, they weren't able to draft the right way around a PL? Have they done it around an Ember?
It's a good start. I will say this is probably my favorite hero-player combination to witness, the Miracle Ember of Legend. My concern is that Lifestealer is really your only true carry on the side of GeeK Fam, and Wind Ranger just pops the ult and runs at you. And I'm really concerned we're going to see a repeat of the previous game. Also love that Nigma, they're effectively just copying their TI drafting style, which is if TA is in the pool, pick that, and if not, well, give we the Wind Ranger and let him go off. They obviously kind of fulfill the same role, and then they build the rest of the draft around that.
I mean, obviously in the past, you know, you've been a drafter. Do you like sort of seeing that being done in a team where you're looking at sort of what your players can play rather than what you want your players to play?
Yep, that's the hardest thing about Dota 2, specifically as a leader, is trying to find that balance behind what's good in the game and what's good for your team. And the best teams almost always seem to have a whole lot of overlap between those choices.
We'll see how these lanes are going to start off. Looks pretty standard. Cuckoo going to be there on the off lane, and he's going to have the backup with the Bukovel against these two. See what sort of pressure they camp onto Miracle mid lane. A little bit of a nice block off from GH, allows them to get some punches in onto Carl, but Zephyr will be there with the backup to make sure that Nigma don't get too aggressive onto the mid laner as of yet. Last time round we saw we have a bit of a slow start in the 1v1 against Carl's Timber. We'll see if anything's going to be a bit different this time round against Alina.
We shall see. It's a relatively even matchup, but definitely have the potential to outskill your opponent. I will say I've loved Carl's Lina in the games that I've seen it. It's just, it's tough. I also, quick thing is that Nigma have the ability to go double Lincolns later on in the game. The Doom is effective, of course, but both Ember and Wind Ranger have no problem picking those up. And it's typically seen as a counter to the Abaddon as well, but that's a hard 5. Not certain you'll want to use that on Kuro. Wow, I'm a blind. Mind control's playing a bad. It's a core. All right, you can do him safely. You were just sitting there not talking, waiting for me to realize.
No, I was
Thanks for leaving me out.
trying to wonder what sort of trainer thought you were on there, Carl. We did find it eventually.
Yeah, back on.
But no, yeah, on the off lane. And of course, yeah, mind control, you know, definitely worth keeping an eye on him. Last game had a pretty slow start on his off lane. Necrophos mid lane. Zephyr is able to get in, snipe out the WeHa Courier on the way back to base. GH just going to do his best to trade hits, but Zephyr knows. TP out, nothing there to stop it with the fish already blown. Courier down, slows down a little bit of WeHa for at least a minute in that lane.
Another reason also why Abaddon's such a nice pick in this patch is that you can open with it. It's a solid 5, we just saw it. And as a 3, it's one of the best heroes to lane and play against Lifestealer. There's really nothing you can do about it. You shield off every open wounds, and you're going to be just fine. Excellent against the combo as well.
Oh, wow. Oh, there's a combo and a half right there. WeHa and GH. They'll slam down Carl out of the lane with that beautiful crossing at the power shot, and GH's big old Fisher.
Not bad at all. Top lane, Kuro and Miracle seem to always, at the very least, be trading in their safe lane. And they were dominant on that Lich Ember combination. Another courier killed by Zephyr, that's 2.
Thanks, man. Doing the works there against the Core's couriers. Miracle and WeHa having to suffer a little bit without them each of those respective minute and a halves. Zephyr has been very, very mobile across the map. Overall, core farm pretty close this time round. I mean, again, it's Raven's gonna have that free farm down bottom. Be interested to see what sort of build he does go for the Lifestealer. I feel like we've seen what, like, Monet's Lifestealer over the last few days. He's just opted for like the Maelstrom build as opposed to the Armlet builder. Mid lane, Carl.
Oh, whoa.
It didn't matter. All right, it's, you know, just. We just wanted to have a bit of fun. He didn't intend to hit that power shot. He didn't need to.
No, he was aiming for the creeps.
Yeah, there you go. Another killer. 2 times now in that mid lane where Carl has felt the wrath of WeHa and GH teaming up together early on in this laning stage.
Mind control in some trouble, but they're going to lose a creep wave under tower if they don't walk back over. And yeah, no stun, so just TPs over to the wave. This is very dangerous to Lina now. The problem with the hero is that if you fall behind, it's similar to a lot of these squishier spellcaster mids, you know, Shadow Fiend is an example. You die a couple times, and all of a sudden you don't really have the fortitude to stand in the lane, especially if Shaker remains off map, which GH has done a great job thus far of doing, and he's avoiding that bottom ward. They can't see his rotations if they come from the top side.
No, it's very scary for Carl, seeing how easy they can execute that gank on the mid lane Lina. He's got to play it very, very smart. Will try his best to nuke down the neutrals, look to catch up in levels and farm to WeHa, but WeHa will hold that advantage for now. A bit of a walk here from Mind Control through the jungle. Raven, best interest to head back to the wave, doesn't want to waste time chasing this.
Going for some stacks. Looks like he'll get both of them. Nice job. Very effective. When your Lina's behind, you can always look to try and recover in the jungle. Dugu ensuring that he'll have a better time of it. I think MC might know that there's a ward there.
I feel like he went up just to test that, yeah.
Yeah. Spidey senses were tingling. They'll see GH on that topside ward moving towards mid, so Carl makes the wise decision to get out of dodge, start farming the woods.
So far looking at it, it will be, you know, another slow start on the offlane for Mind Control.
Yeah.
Did have that occur in their first game, and that's definitely where the weakness seems to lie in these first opening 5 minutes. That's done his best to sort of draw, grab, pull, creep waves around, and now the wave will push in underneath his tower, so we'll have the opportunity to catch back up a little bit. Yeah, safe laners, both of them going entirely unpunished. Both Raven and Miracle off to an untouchable start. 40 and 12 on Raven, 38 and 13 on Miracle.
I would say Lifestealer does have some great matchups in this game, with the exception of the Abaddon. They're going to dive MC under tower. Don't know if this will be a kill.
Has Mind Control got anything else to pop out? He has not. They'll get him. GeeK Fab able to get in top lane. Cuckoo also feeling the wrath of the dual lane, so both off laners suffering.
Yep, mirror matchup. I think it's a little more valuable for GeeK Fam though, because Lifestealer, especially in the mid game, you can almost ride to a victory if he stays far enough ahead. Want to see him get. I wouldn't like the Maelstrom. I actually really like that item pickup. Looks like will be an armlet first. Can agree with that. I just want to make sure he gets an acceleration item afterwards, whether that's Maelstrom or Radiance.
Getting an aggressive GH and Weeha, they know that Carl's had to back up. In fact, always been trapped perfectly. GH getting just the right position. It will get knocked back on Weeha with the mischance applied by Dubu. So Weeha not doing that much with the focus fire for now. And now we'll finally end the debuff so he can now juke it out. Shackle shot set up onto Carl. One more power shot will finish the kill. Weeha is able to claim the life of Carl. It is going to cost him his own though. The Fairy Fire is poked, but it won't save him. GeeK fam do get the trade.
That was incredible by Weeha. Carl got caught there, just not using spells. If he pops off the Lagoon, it might be enough to save him. But Weeha, really cool position and gets the shackle off to ensure the arrow. And still a slight lead for GeeK fam, but we saw this in the previous game. You're not really comfortable against Nigma unless you've got at least a couple of racks. Feels like any smaller size lead doesn't really matter much against this lineup. And once again, I point to the disparity between the support's impact later on in this game when you consider that you've got a Shaker Bat, right? Two of the best initiators and kill finders in Dota 2 against a Coddle and a Rubik. And yeah, there's going to be some turnaround potential. You can anti-gank, you'll have that big Coddle ultimate, but it's always a lot easier to just grab somebody and go.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
It's a slaughterhouse for these couriers, man. That's what, 3, 4?
On top, Kuro trying to get the setup onto Cuckoo. GH is there with a block off, and Weeha, he's got a DD, so they'll make sure work of this. Shackle shot connects, the TP's coming in, but Cuckoo's already gone. The TP was completed. Zephyr's going to end up feeding his life as well. Double kill for Weeha. Nigma starting to make these moves, get those kills, and GeeK fam, they're just not ready to respond to them.
Lena's the primary playmaker for GeeK fam, but he's forced to recover. He's still in the jungle, had almost no game thanks to the nice rotations from GH, and it's so easy for them to find kills. They have Ember, Windranger with the Shaker just hunting. It's so easy for them to execute, and look at this, Dubu, he'll be next to fall.
Yeah, this start, it's looking so hot for Nigma. Weeha 5-1-1 involved in 6 of the 7 kills here before the 9-minute mark. The setups, the moves have been perfect. Raven did get in underneath the tower there. He's going to be able to run away. There's no one around to snipe him, so Raven will be fine. But trying for the kill on Mind Control, wasn't able to do it though. Mind Control having the borrowed time as he hits 6. Yeah. This has got to be a worry, especially with the fact that Nigma do have the Swim Ranger and Ember to play aggressive. GH is found though. Did come around and try again to set up something from the mid. They'll know straight away that ward's up there. They're still trying for something. Miracle's going to jump forward. Jackal's there as well as the power shot. Can they kill off Carl? We are moving in with a focus fire. Carl's trying to hide another slide of fence. Carl's dead once again, and with Kuro coming through, they could go for a second kill onto Dubu. A power shot setups there. We are dominating.
Love it. It's all about mobility. We've talked about that and the importance of it in the meta. And you have Ember, Windranger, Shaker. There's just so much pace you can play with. Already 9 kills in 9 minutes. A hell of a lot hotter in this one than it was that previous game. They've already matched their kill total from like 30 minutes in that game 1. And have a contest to the bot valley.
Yeah, he's able to get in and grab that rune. He's going to go for the outpost. Of course, Raven, he's got nothing to stop him in terms of the stuns, but he can just kill him. He actually killed it. GH, was the Fisher unavailable? It felt like he could have thrown it out to sort of buy Mind Control time and maybe block it off, but well, GH says, no, goodbye Mind Control, you're going to die today.
Oh, that's still value. I would trade my life for 100 XP, 150 XP to all my allies.
Oh yeah, sure.
Heartbeat.
They still get the one down there, and by the looks of it, we'll see if Kuro is able to take this. Cuckoo's obviously going to come across and try and make sure that the Kuro cannot grab the outpost, at least now. I mean, he's got a lot of napalm stacking up on him. He's taking quite a bit of damage, Cuckoo. As Kuro just alone as this lone support, stopping Cuckoo from being able to walk up and go for it right now. He's going to try for it. Kuro is definitely going to mess around with it. Does he want to pop the lasso to stop the channeling? No, he's going to let Cuckoo take it. Wants to save the lasso for when he knows he has backup and can go for a kill. Bottom, Nigma, Raven, that's the big one. He's been uninterrupted this whole game. Now they've managed to move the action down to that bottom lane, and they're not only crushing top and mid, they're killing off the carry. Top lane, GeeK fam do finally push Kuro out of the action, but it's Nigma losing his support, and GeeK fam losing that all-important carry.
Yeah, that's why I love the Miracle Ember as well, because this is not he does not farm. He is not a passive player. He gets his levels and immediately starts moving around the map. He found kills top, then mid, now bottom. They're even going to be able to collect that tower, even with the last hit. Drums complete. And look at them to just keep it up. You've got every single hero, with the exception of Mind Control, has a ton to add to a gank. And they're just going to keep playing in duos.
Structures are fortified. Radiant structures are fortified.
Kuro, he's going to go for this solo. Steps up, drags back Dubu. Dubu has Cuckoo by his side. Kuro not quite enough control and damage to do it on his own.
I like that. He's got the purge creep on Doom, so he can dispel the napalm off himself or allies. Really nice heads-up thinking there by Cuckoo. Looks like Deso's going to be the choice from Raven. That old-school Matumba Man build seems fitting up in a game against Nigma, but again, not going to help him farm as much as items like Midas, Maelstrom, Radiance, so we won't see his net worth extrapolate too quick. Kuro in trouble, but TPs.
So they can turn this here. Kuro does get taken out with the Dragon Slayer. GH is going to blow the Echo to try and set him onto Cuckoo, but GH is nuked down as well. Carl, it's a double. He can look towards Mind Control. Mind Control pops the borrowed time. Mind Control needs help, and he has got Miracle on the side. Goes in, commits with the Remnants, bursts down Cuckoo. That's one gone, but now Raven, that slows down Miracle. The Remnants moving out very, very slow.
Oh, look at that.
In position, he reads the movement, has the catch with the Light Strike. Another slide, but Miracle cannot escape this. As Carl killing spree, he kills all three of them there on that top lane. Wow. As GeeK found a beautiful move from them. Gets their Lina back up towards pole position.
That's a hell of a rotation from Carl. That Arcane Rune paying dividends. One of the reasons they didn't expect that many spells to come out of the Lina. Plus, you have the cooldown reduction thanks to Dubu. Now the all-important level 10 talent. After the removal of experience gain boosters, I feel like damage talents are just by far the best right now. Lina gets 35 at level 10. All of a sudden, he's back.
Yeah,
and he's feeling good kills. Yeah, that's all you need sometimes as a mid player. You fall a little behind, sure, you got owned in lane, but 3 kills, 4 kills. Psh.
Yeah, that's entirely recovered it for Carl. Doesn't matter about those 4 deaths early on. He's basically back up to what We Are has. So We Are's trying for this mid tower, backed up by GH and Kuroki. Cuckoo's going to step forward along with Zephyr, and Nigma will back off.
There's good signs of life from GeeK fam. They're certainly not out of this yet. I like the resolve. It'd be very easy, especially against a lineup as fast-paced as Nigma, to just sort of falter. You've dropped one game, and all of a sudden you're getting run over, but nope. They turn around with a timely rune, and now they're going to group up. Let's take this mid-tower. Raven does have that armament, so he's very strong here. He is not looking to just isolate himself in the lane and continue ricing.
Oh, so he is getting involved, pushing in on mid. Miracle goes to the setup on Cuckoo, knocked back there with a flame break. Mind Control's trying to charge in with the light. It draws up forward and back forward, and Raven, he's looking to commit. Kuro pops the lasso, but they cannot kill Raven off in time. Raven's fine, steps off with the rage. Nigma lose no one as of yet either. They do start to back off a little more damage than that of GeeK fam. GeeK fam being the stronger side here in the 5v5. The fortification comes out. GeeK fam continue to stand their ground at this tier 1. See if they can find any setup, Nigma. GH trying for the angle. Official won't block them in. It blocks them out, so GeeK fam can back off.
I love the way these teams approach team fights, specifically Nigma. You can see they're just poking. They're trying to bait you into an engagement. They know that they're not going to win a fight if they just dive forwards, but they'll poke, they'll try and pull you in, lull you to sleep with a nice little lullaby, and all of a sudden they're going to pounce on you under tower. But they do defend the tier 1. This is expended. Doom down. Lasso still available now for the Rubik. Perhaps could find a pick off with that. But so far, so good for Nigma. The Mind Control, crazy how farmed these two supports are. MC is actually bottom of the net worth charts right now on that Abaddon.
And with that lasso, definitely, that could be the sort of difference between not killing and catching the Ember and the Wind Ranger. Any sort of telekinesis into the lasso, plus the burst, or even the punch of Raven's Lifestealer, with the way that Raven's been getting so active and involved with the team. They can get these kills on the more elusive heroes of Nigma.
Yeah, and the concern, however, is that you're playing against a cleanse mechanic. Nigma will always be able to remove disables, pull, and pray. Like, you can save allies easily. GeeK fam, you've got counter initiation, but there's so much catch on the side of Nigma. You're going to get lassoed, you're going to get dunked on, and sure, you can throw out a coddle ult, you can cast some spells, but there's nothing to actually save your ally, which gives Nigma a huge advantage when it comes to finding kills and initiating fights, which most of the time is the key to winning them.
Back down to a bit more passiveness from these teams. GeeK fam with the 2K lead off the back of those events.
Look at Miracle. The Branch and the Imp Claw feeling very good.
Some nice finds for him.
Maelstrom next item as expected. Weeha looking to complete an MKB right off the bat. which is, of course, incredibly effective when you're against a Coddle. You know that you're going to be blinded almost at all times, so why not make sure you can just get right on top of Raven and right-click. Doom up, time to go.
Smoke on smoke. It's GeeK. He's going to look to try and start this. He's not going to drop the Doom as of now. Zephyr going to be able to find the opening on it. GH dragged into the light strike. GH, he's gone. The lasso used to lock him down, make sure that nothing can come out from the Shaker. And GeeK fam, Cuckoo's on top of KuroKy. KuroKy cannot escape this. Another blast is out. Double kill for Carl. GeeK fam, they're pulling out the plays, and it's their turn in here in game 2 to make Nigma look like the broken side.
Got an Aquila on that Lina Illinois. It's like the best item you can find on the hero. Helps with the push, a nice agility for the attack speed.
You see that with the stats, this incredibly fast duels for a Lina that died 4 times in the laning stage. It really was that incredible move for GeeK fam up by the top tier 1 tower that's allowed them to take control of this game. He is falling. Power shot does take him out, as well as Zephyr's life. The supports are gone. Nigma hit back, but the cores of GeeK fam, they're split up. You have down bottom Raven working on the bottom lane, up top Carl's working on the top. This isn't any sort of fight that GeeK fam want to get interested in. They'll lose their tier 1 tower. They're just trying to focus on getting that extra item ahead on their key cores.
Yeah, they do have one advantage that Nigma can't replicate, which is that Lifestealer Doom, very tanky, strength cores. You can just go in, run forwards, provide some vision and a safety blanket for your backline supports. Nigma don't really have that luxury. Ember, Wind Ranger, a more elusive style, so you don't actually have a true frontliner. Sure, that could be MC, but you kind of want him waiting the wings to save an ally with the shield of a disable. And GeeK fam still on all 11 to 13, approaching 20 minutes. We'll probably see some smoke moves for the outposts. Perhaps even right now, Abaddon finishing up the Vlads as GeeK fam look to move towards top. They know that there's dire heroes in the area. Will they find anyone? Carl.
Miracle. Zephyr. Go for the setup on mind control. They'll turn Raven pops out, starts to work on mind control, force out the power time. KuroKy has looked to commit with the lasso, but it's not enough control as Raven now can turn. Fight on forward. A Dragon Slave takes off the shield of mind control. Mind control has the speed to get away. Miracle's trying his best to help out KuroKy, but he cannot keep them off it. Whoa! He's in though! He's trying that fight around right then. As a double kill for Miracle, it's all turned round as GH out of nowhere jumps in and takes this game back under his own wing. Nigma will equalize the difference. That lead the GeeK fam was starting to grow as GH makes that wonderful play with his blink.
Holy wow. I mean, we talk about signature hero player combinations. We were raving about Miracle's Ember, but this is the GH Shaker. This is a big part of the reason they won TI7.
Let's have a look at that beauty again. GH, he's waiting. He's looking for that opportune jump to make. GeeK fam are incredibly grouped up. And the important ones as well. There, the 4 enemies in, immediately getting the 2. Raven did have the Rager, but obviously the 2 cores, Cuckoo and Carl, just wiped off the game.
You can see Zephyr, he had an idea of what was happening. He actually avoids the dunk, but took so much echo damage, he might as well have died. Would have if that power shot had been just a few yards to the right. That now, talk about demoralizing, man. That is like, I hate jump scares, and I have almost jumped out of my seat at times when a Shaker dunks on top of me, and especially in a pro match like this, facing elimination, all of a sudden expect GeeK fam to play with a little more hesitation. That was not good. They would take the lead 17-12. How many outposts did they get? It looks like it was a one-for-one trade.
Carl. Not quite there with the timing. Miracle able to dodge that stone with the sleight of fist.
And look what's queued up. That's the Lincolns. The Doom counter. Expect we to grab one at a point as well, maybe even GH. And if you can't Doom the Ember, how do you actually kill him here? They don't really have enough lockdown, especially when you consider he's gotten Abaddon in support. Might find Dubu continuing to the right.
On mid lane, Cuckoo. He's got Raven inside him. Not the easiest target to go on, and mind control does have We Are and GH by his side. GeeK fam will play it smart. They know that they cannot commit for that. Meanwhile, top, the chase did continue. Miracle, he's not got the chains in time, but he has the damage. The Maelstrom procs will be enough. Dubu unable to TP out in time.
Love it. Agi treads, pop drums. I'm not sure if he did the math, or maybe he saw the Maelstrom procs, like, okay, I got him now, but That's a nice find, and now they're already smoked up looking for more, knowing it's 4 on 5.
There's the opening. Set up Fisher, knock him back into the shackle shot. Zephyr, he's dead. Starting to see the pace being picked up by both sides. For now, Nigma the ones with the edge.
Is under attack. Dire's middle
So far just playing with class, Owen.
Sweeping the map, making those moves.
And
but no one's falling too far. You have all 4 of the carries and the mids pretty much in the same area. It's just all about who starts these fights, and most importantly, for GeeK fam at least, that they have to get these kills, or at least keep vision and control onto GH. They cannot allow GH to get away with blink slams like that again.
No, definitely not. Kuku's in trouble. He's got the blink out, should be fine, indeed he is. They're just hunting constantly, man. Smoke up, but GeeK fam, you need an initiation, you need to engage, and it's got to start with a Doom, but I'm not even sure who you're supposed to target with it at this point. It probably has to be mind control, but if you do that, how do you kill Miracle?
They're going to go straight away with the Doom. Can they do it in time? It's already been forced back to the side. The Fish has blocked them off as well. Kuku, he's attempting to stay on top of Miracle. Can they get him off in time? We are challenged with the focus fire. Kuku's got to back up. The Aphotic Shield will keep Miracle more than safe. An ambitious Doom initiation from Kuku does not give them any chance of killing Miracle. They didn't have to follow up, and that's that sustain and save from mind control. It makes it so hard to kill someone, even if they're doomed, unless the entirety of GeeK fam can get on top of them.
It's what you're forced into, right? Lina can't commit that hard. You're just way too squishy, especially against all these stuns on Nigma. Also, just realize the Baden's talents are kind of unreal, specifically 10 strength at level 10. It's effectively just a free 1,000 gold. Could be part of the reason this hero gets so much play. Yeah, with no Doom now, not really much you can do to try and make moves, as Carl should be finishing up that BKB soon. He's got bots. I'd like to see them try and play a little more split, but how do you play side lanes by yourself against heroes like that? Heroes like Shake or Windranger, Ember, you're always at risk anytime you don't see every single one of these heroes on map.
And this Roshan going to Nigma, Aegis for Miracle. GeeK fam unable to do anything about that.
Maelstrom finished a little earlier than average. That's to be expected, as this Miracle player is a little better than your typical Redditor.
Top tower is under attack.
This top lane tower. Nigma will take a further objective. GeeK fam still split up. They're deciding to let these towers go, sort of to the same sense that how Nigma was playing in game 1, just prioritizing getting the farm up on the Carl Lina, on the Raven Lifestealer, and make sure that they don't feed away their cores any more than necessarily, that they only turn up to the fights when they themselves feel ready to defend.
I'm just not sure that they're going to have the damage for it, Owen. Both cores forced into these defensive builds. You've got a Halberd up on the Lifestealer, Lina with bots into BKB. They're not able to maximize damage, and as you can see, they're not killing anybody, and that's the big issue they're having right now. Now that he's got an Arcane Rune and Aegis, like, Miracle isn't a real target. Mind Control you can't go for either. And they safely frontline as the rest of the team just waits for an opportunity to pounce. Carl's got the BKB, Lincoln's queued up next, but he might be a bit isolated here. Weeha's on the way.
Done the best to train. Now the extra TP's coming back from Nigma. The jump, he's found the angle on Raven. Raven will not fall, of course, though. He's pretty big on the Lifestealer, level 17 for an armor to work with. They'll back out of it, GeeK fam. They know that the rest of Nigma's going to come swarming through the jungle, trying to catch them off on the retreat, so they'll TP back to base. Make sure that they don't lose anyone down here. Maybe, I'll say it, anyone. Tubu, he did try and play his luck going for the walk back, and it will not end in a successful trip back home.
Yeah. This is the benefit of taking map control, right? And you can see Nigma, they're just cutting across the map, sweeping it. As long as you stay enemy side, the map shrinks for you, and it's so easy. They're already maintaining a presence in the opposite side jungle. The bottom lane looking to push in, and they're gonna find somebody else. Yep, Kuku. It's near impossible to play in this position, though, and unfortunately, I don't see how GeeK fam reestablish map control unless they find some sort of opportunity to find kills, and you can't do that without vision, which you just don't have. You got one ward on the map on the enemy side, sure, but these two, one for each jungle on your side, all it does is provide a bit of a storm warning, but Nigma still find you. Carl will pick up Kuro. He was all alone down bottom. Let's get a nice lane ward down before he falls.
Still, all the pressure on GeeK fam to pull together some sort of high ground defense to swing this one around. The control is all the way off Nigma here, 26 minutes in.
That will be the time Aegis expires indeed, Dubu. Just letting everybody know they know what's up.
He's been a fan of that Dubu. He was doing that the other day in the old chat. Yeah, just more than a team player, he's just a player. He wants to help everybody out. GeeK fam understandably very, very careful and cautious with their position now.
Yep.
Waiting for the fight to come to them almost.
No real options otherwise. You need a BKB on Cuckoo so he can properly initiate. Only level 13, man. The panel was discussing whether or not this hero is worthy of first phasing. Nigma trying to prove that it is not, as GH actually even has a level on the enemy offlaner.
Who's going to make the jump first? Raven, Zephyr, they'll start things off. Telekinesis back into the open wounds. Miracle goes straight for the backlines with the aggressive remnanting. Linkers will be parked, but the rest of Nigma's there to back him up. The light pulls them back for now. Another dodge off the light strike array with that side of fist. Miracle's chase will not stop. He's on to Dubu. A stolen Aphotic Shield will allow Dubu to get back to safety. But Nigma push GeeK fam away from this tower. They can turn and continue to take these outer objectives, as GeeK fam just are not prepared to fight them right now.
Yep. Love the way they're playing this. Miracle, sort of like an attack dog, nipping at the GeeK fam heels, trying to buy time for his supports and allies to catch up. They're not going to overcommit. He's not going to dive into the base. He's just trying to cause some chaos so that they can find a true opening to grab a kill, maybe look to threaten high ground. Look at the vision they've got, man. 4 wards, all deep on the enemy side of the map, 1 per lane, and it's so they're just sweeping. Looking to act as janitors and clean up GeeK fam.
Oh, look at that foul. Carl, he'll go for the BKB TP out. They don't have anything through it. Heads up play from Carl. No hesitation popping that BKB to make sure he can escape. Still, it's just for the past half of this game being GeeK fam getting forced around the map. Dubu caught outside of the base. His game continuing to get hurt immensely as he's pretty much got nothing at all on this support call.
Yeah, they're stacking up the armor items too. You can see a bad already with the Vlads. Will be AC next, both damage, amp, and defense. And now Cuckoo next on the menu.
Let's see if Miracle wants to commit. Tries for the slight change. Will be not able to quite get the reach though. Down bottom, another raised TP. Raven's out.
It's just so scary. They're getting hunted all over the map. And there's so many wards. Nigma have almost full vision of these movements. 45 seconds on runes and outposts. GeeK fam going to try and get some sort of control top. But look, there's already TP coming in.
Carl, he's sticking around to commit for this. It is only mind control. The TP'd over. Where's the rest of them? That's the question. GeeK fam, they're pretty much bringing in all of them. Their TPs will now finish, and they're in to try and do something about this. About him. Miracle tries to help out a little bit. Borrowed time is popped, but he has been doomed. Mind control still running. The full 5-man of GeeK fam will go for this, but this is giving a lot of time for Nigma to get up the mind up the cliff. They haven't got vision up there, so mind control. He can hide off the cliff. They cannot see him. They cannot kill him. And now Nigma, they're just going to start overrunning GeeK fam. He slam dropped down. GH trying to go for Raven, who did get the rage out. Tussle. Raven can turn. Claim GH, but they've lost 3 on GeeK fam. Raven's rage will end. Weeha, Kura, and Miracle can toy around with him. The angle. Weeha gets nuclear by Zephyr, but he can still back off with the win run. He's fine. They are now having to retreat. Raven too strong for them to kill straight up.
Mind control's back though. They got him off the cliff.
Miracle hunting in the trees. Side of fist will find Zephyr. As a 4th will fall. Only Raven able to survive there. As GeeK fam, they went all in to try and kill mind control around that outpost. More than enough time for the rest of Nigma to sweep across the map and be there to turn the fight around. You can see here 24.9k hero damage done by Miracle thanks to the stats from Gosu AI. He is just, he's hitting, he's hurting, and there's nothing on GeeK fam that can reliably get as much damage done as he can in these fights.
And I love it. There's no way they intended, much like Arteezy, to put an ally on the cliff there, but unlike Artur, it worked. Yeah, it's actually a good place to be. I'm sure MC probably panicked for a second. They're like, oh wait, this is cool. I'm just gonna hang out here. I'm doomed, can't do anything. Might as well survey the battlefield, maybe sip my Mai Tai. GH looking to hunt down Carl. Look, they're just everywhere, man. Already bottom.
I mean, he does want to chase this. He's gonna have Wimrun in a second to close the gap. The focus fire is on Carl. Carl himself. Obviously very speedy, fishes out another BKB popped by Cuckoo. They still retreat. Dubu will be the one to pay the price by the looks of it as he's shackled up. Relicate buys him a little bit of time. The side of fist actually won't be enough to get him. Brandon's in. Miracle, he is chasing for this, committing up the high ground, and it does do the job. Dubu is dead. Fisher now catching Carl. His BKB's already been used. He's got nothing to save himself. As Miracle now godlike with that double kill, they'll continue to slaughter GeeK fam inside of their own base. 3 dead. It's now 29-14, 10k lead. This game 2 is getting entirely out of hand for GeeK fam.
Man, the spatial awareness of the Nigma lineup is absolutely unreal. You've got 3 heroes hunting for kills, whereas MC, he's got the wherewithal to chill in the back, ensure that he's actually able to save We there with just a timely shield out, and then, you know, they find kills inside the base. It's just everything working together. Aura's online now. BKB finished on Miracle, and AC shot. Oh my god, yeah, of course we're going high ground now. Talk about the timing. You got 3 heroes that just finished huge items.
Tower gone. Racks to start falling as well. Carl not wanting to use his buyback. He's set for 20. He's holding on to it. He'll let the mid-racks go. They know that they cannot hold this set. As Nigma just continuing to cement this lead, and they can taste that grand finals getting closer and closer with every minute here in this game 2.
Shrine immediately after. It's a repeat of that first game. Roshan soon spawning. Don't really see how GeeK fam get back into this, Owen. It is looking bleak. It all started with that one dunk. Feels like, once again, it was that one play, right? Nigma just need that single opportunity, and they can take that, make it a W. It's what makes them such a great team and why it's so hard to play up against them. Because, you know, some teams you can afford to make a couple mistakes against, right? This is a squad. If you make just one critical error, you're going to lose the game. That's why it was also so impressive that RNG were able to take them down, because they played a game where they had to take the aggressive actions all game. They had to maintain a lead from the laning phase on, and they were able to do so. In fact, they ended the game with like 45 kills in less than 30 minutes. And at this rate, it looks like we'll be seeing a rematch in the grand final.
Well, here we have it, Roche. It's being taken by the 2, and then watch the rest of Nigma hover around the pit. Ready for any movement of GeeK fam, but GeeK fam, they know they can't come out here and fight. They're letting this one go. Their best interest is to just try and hope and hold for that high ground defense. Not something that's going to be easy, but it's pretty much the only way that they can start to potentially swing this one around with how far Nigma is ahead right now.
And it's just, the issue mainly is that they can't protect their supports. Miracle just dives into the back line, gets on top of Dubu, then turns for Zephyr. Rest of his team effectively can just run around in circles, posing a distraction. Once you clean up the supports, then you turn to the cores. Nobody on Nigma's ever threatened because you've got the abandon of MC waiting to save. Here they come.
See what they have, Kuro. A deep grab, instantly put to a stop. The stolen aphotic shield keeps him safe. Carl from the lasso. Kuro now turned upon. Kuroki will be punished for that commitment. But back down, Nigma may settle back for a little bit.
A little over-aggressive there, Kuro. Also probably didn't recognize that the shield was stolen, so I said you don't have any disable cleansing, but if Rubik grabs that, then obviously you'll be able to remove any sort of stun. And as you said, yeah, it's time to play a little more cautious. You don't need to dive in. It's really Miracle that's got to be the one initiating and engaging, especially when he has this Aegis. Then Kuro can look to pounce, but I assume he won't make that mistake again. This team rarely blunders the same way twice.
Carl getting out, starting to reclaim some outposts, and at least, you know, set up if they can hold for sort of like the next 4 minutes, force Nigma to maybe consider taking back control of the side. But GeeK, he's scouting this out. He's going to commit straight away with the slam. He's trying for the setup on his own. There's the backup for GeeK fam as GeeK. Has he got any backup himself? The TPs are coming in, but they're not here in time. GeeK will be punished. as he was very ambitious there. Maybe Nigma can still get something going, but GeeK Fam, they're going to look to continue their power as Kuro is falling as well. 2 kills for GeeK Fam. Jump for it. They're not done yet, GeeK Fam. Light Strike array follow-ups onto mind control with Ravens chasing him down. The slow for the open wounds. Borrow time will be popped, but GeeK Fam, they're chasing. Carl slides in. Shackle shot will be blocked. He can't quite get any connection onto it.
Oh, he got to tier 3 already. But as you said, GeeK Fam showing signs of life. They're not out of this yet. They get a tier 2, 2 kills. And who cares about one more tier 3? You've already lost the rest.
For this. He's not gonna push his luck.
Wow, it's only a 10k lead for Nigma, and Aegis is still active, but you want to utilize it and try and get some more objectives here.
Dire are scanning.
I like Miracle. He's just staying on the enemy side of the map, trying to get that level 25 up and running ASAP. Just gonna find Tubu.
Oh, he's got Raven there with a shackle shot to the sensor. Has he got the damage before the shackle ends? He hurts not. Raven still alive. He could not armlet toggle his way through that one. Raven dying solo to the catch of Weeha Watch. Miracle just dismantled the 2 supports on the back lines by himself.
That's a 2-on-5, and they end up with 3 kills. The rest of the team's just farming lanes. Oh man, this is just when it looks like GeeK Fam might be back in it. Oh no, God, you, Carl.
Trying to push the lane out. And that's now 4 heroes out of the game for GeeK Fam. Carl, again, this game not saving up the money. He's not very money conscious, this boy. He's 250 gold short of a buyback. He's dead for 70 seconds.
It's reminiscent of that group stage match against Fighting Pandas. You go toe-to-toe for so long, you battle it out, and all of a sudden one error turns into what feels like a game-winning advantage. And Liquid claim a second set of racks and move down towards bottom. Is there buyback on Lena?
There is not. He's not got the gold. He's just going to have to sit and watch and hope that the rest of the 4 members of his team can do something phenomenal. They do get the jump on Weeha. That's a great start. And now Raven, he's on to GH. This is the dream that Carl was hoping for. Watching here from the sidelines, they lose Tubu, but making that quick play to kill Weeha, to kill GH, it's something.
Love that he immediately buys back. He knows he's got a 30-second window. There's no Lena, no Coddle ultimate, and it's going to be a 5-on-4 inside the base. They get this rack, so they get megas, and almost certainly the game. Nigma's push for the win.
See what GeeK Fam can do. But at the same time there's that window of opportunity. If Weeha dies again, or GH even at that matter, who knows? We'll see. But Cuckoo steps up. Allows them the shackle shot connected to Raven. They'll look to mind control. Weeha looking to commit with the focus fire. The BKB, but Cuckoo, he's out of range. He's under the invis. Weeha won't be able to kill him off. They'll go back towards the objective, Nigma, and they will claim them. The full sets of racks are all gone. It is mega creeps up for Nigma. How can GeeK Fam punish them now? They look to lead it on Miracle, but a Remnant's prepared. He's out of there. And there the jump. Kuro collapses back in onto Raven. Another use of the Aphotic Shield. Zephyr consistently having it stolen and prepared for all these sort of plays will allow Raven to live. But Nigma definitely inching their way closer and closer to potentially closing this one down.
Yep, now it's, if we learned any lessons from the previous day, it's that all games are losable if your cores have no buybacks. So even though they've got megas claimed, Nigma just gonna chill, exit the base. No need to get frisky here. You've already almost certainly secured this one, as bounties and outposts come active in about 20 seconds more.
Miracle. Cuckoo, he's got the stun. They've got the linker spot, lifting him up. Mind Control's coming over to try and help save him out. Miracle gets the BKB and Raven out of time. They'll go towards Michael. Quick jump inside of Cuckoo here with the infest, but Nigma's now turned up in numbers. Cuckoo, he's got to run. BKB's popped by both him and Carl as they'll back away. Miracle jumps in speedily with that Aghanim's Remnant. Zephyr is shut down. There's no Rubik. The Laguna's thrown out onto Mind Control, but Mind Control incredibly beefy. Raven still trying to fight them here. The ball of light thrown down by Tubu. Miracle stunned up. He puts the Remnant out, but he's dead. They've lost the Ember. Miracle's gone for 100, and so's Weeha. 90 seconds dead on both of the key cores. The lift up, the slam down. Mind Control wiped out as well. GeeK Fam, they get all 3 at the cores of Nigma. What can they do now? Cuckoo may not even be done. He's trying to chase on here. GH with his own invis. Should be fine though. Cuckoo not with the detection on the front. GH even turning, eyeing this up. He said, is that what I've got? An echo. There's a few creeps, but of course not quite the damage to blow up Batum himself. But the game will go on. GeeK Fam will live to see another day for now. It's a decent gold swing still. Obviously, the world against them with the mega creeps out, constantly pushing in those waves. Yeah, but definitely showing they still have some signs of life, GeeK fam.
For sure, they need a couple more of those, for sure. The problem is when you're playing up against Megas is, yeah, you got all those kills, but there were 3 lanes in their base. So you're using these kill timers to effectively do nothing more than push out lanes. And, you know, at the moment you step away, they're going to be coming straight back for your base because the creeps are just so damn strong. And yeah, Maelstrom going to be the choice for Carl. You just need more wave clear. You got to get these creeps out of base if you're going to win this game.
Cuckoo. Now, does he want to try for this one on his own? Doesn't look like him. I mean, there's still 3 dead for 20 seconds. Okay, with Raven, that's certainly well. Kuro just minding his own business. He's going to get a quick trip to the grave. That's GeeK fam. Very impressive, and this is where we have seen GeeK fam excel in the past. When they are behind, when you think it's all over, GeeK fam will certainly be there to argue their case. And they're holding on. They're holding on here in this all-important game 2.
The win probability bottomed out at near 99.9%, but they've bought back a few more percentage points thanks to that fight. They need more kills, though, specifically more mistakes from Nigma. They found the answer to win this game, however, which is kill we, right? You see Miracle is doing a great job, head on a swivel, constantly just looking for either Dubu or Zap. From the moment he sees him, boom, zip on him, and if they don't have a glimmer of force, they almost certainly go down just to his damage alone. But we doesn't have that same maneuverability. You can get on top of him. Raven is effectively 4-shotting him.
And Raven's done an excellent job in the way he's been taking these fights. Not necessarily the cleanest of his carry performances, but it's been a very hard game for him to perform to that point. Still 6-3-8, and the last few fights, he's done a fantastic job of getting in and out. Miracle, they're on top of him. He's doomed. He's straight up dead. They get the Ember. Can they get more? Cuckoo will be focused by the focus fire. We are having a runaway. Raven goes back towards Mike John. Miracle buying back. He really wants this open down with the remnants around. Miracle to chase. He's on towards Raven. Raven turns. He gets the bash up. Miracle having to pop the BKB. Raven. He goes for Wheel. Wheel's gone. He kills the win range. He turns down to Miracle. The BKB's about to wear off. The bash is never cool. He's got the lasso locks Raven down. It doesn't matter. The stolen shield again. Raven granted that second chance to clean things up. Open with Sono Kuro. The bash on Mike drop. Times forced out. Raven has been silenced. Miracle waiting at the side, but Cuckoo's always there. He's there in the trees. He's ready if Raven needs him. Raven starts to poke back at mind control. Nigma, they're kind of worried. They're kind of scared. They know Raven can kill them. The bashes, mind control. He's dead as well. Raven craves the life of another Miracle. He's trying to go in. Raven hesitating, jumps into Cuckoo. Cuckoo goes for the Seattle play with the sentries down. They see Cuckoo. They kill off the dude, but Raven, he's out. GH is fell. Can he get more? Miracle if he gets the bash, Raven. If it's changed, Raven, he's still got the rage. He's baiting this out. He'll go for the rage. He'll go for the TP away. He'll calm it down for now.
Holy shit, man. The damage output of this lifesteal is absolutely unreal. Nobody with buyback now in this game, with the exception of Kuroki's Fat Rider. Could have been more damage. They've got to deal with the creeps, right? Carl actually had to stay there because there's all these waves constantly pushing into him, but the gold leads evaporate. Even with a kill lead.
It's back to even on the go.
Not out of this yet.
Not the cleanest of close-up by far by Nigma. They're slipping up in these fights. Some of these moves. Raven, the pressure the world is against him, but he's keeping it cool. Look at the damage dealt. This lifestealer being the absolute boss that he needs to be to give GeeK fam that chance to push this series to a 3rd game.
And he's got the Abyssal Blade now, a new blink mechanic, right? He's got a halberd to cancel any Lincolns. If he just jumps on top of Wee, any sort of follow-up, that's an immediate kill on the Wind Ranger. It's been 3 consecutive fights now. Wee's just exploded. Shiva's now for Miracle to try to be able to go toe-to-toe, but no one's really going to be able to handle this lifestealer in a man fight. It's just not possible. Way too much physical damage. And it does simplify. GeeK fam, it's a relatively simple game from here on out. Defend the Ancient. You're up against an Aegis now. No reason to leave base. You got Megas constantly pushing in. Expect to see them just sit and wait, daring Nigma to go try and finish this game.
And Raven, in terms of gearing up after that, he's queued up the Moonshot. It'll take him a bit of time. He's going to want to try and hold up the buyback. We can see there, the item's a little bit slower for Miracle this time round. Understandable with the way that he wanted to itemize beforehand. And still, though, even getting at the slower point compared to average, he's still very, very mobile across the fight, but that hasn't seemed to matter most of the times when Miracle gets in close, because they can't kill Raven off in time. Raven, he always gets the chance to turn, get that one hit, that one bash, and suddenly that could trip up Miracle enough to allow the rest of GeeK fam to kill off the Ember.
It's the MKB, because typically Wind Ranger always is able to deal with the lifestealer, because you just pop your Wind Run and channel ultimate. But at this point, Raven's doing so much damage, and thanks to the MKB, Weeha is actually the one afraid for his life. So if he can't deal with them, who's supposed to? Miracle can't land too many stuns. That's an 8-second duration rage now, keep in mind. He does have that level 25 talent. So 50% of the time, Raven's going to be able to cover himself with spell immunity. And unfortunately, this game, Nigma have absolutely nothing with the exception of that lasso to deal with spell immunity. And it's all of a sudden 8k gold because they claim some bounty runes.
Oh, Cuckoo. Being a little sneaky here. And Raven chilling out in the middle lane. No one's going to separate from the rest of their team, though, so unlikely to find a catch. As Nigma are keeping together, running it down mid. They're ready to try once more to close this one up. Get this push on, the final tier 4 falling low. Miracle start to push Cuckoo. He's looking for the lead at Cuckoo. He gets the dude's down on GH. Raven, the invisible blade jump on a Kuro. Kuroki is dead. BKB pop by Weeha. Turning with a focus fire. Raven, he needs help, and he needs it now. The forward left down. Shackle shot will not connect. Raven, he turns. Upwards on the back. He's standing to heal back onto the bar attack. Wants straight away to remove the upwards. So Raven cannot get the heals. Miracle's on him. Raven's in trouble here with the red range. The turn. Raven's still alive. And 2 buybacks have to be utilized by Nigma. Kuno, he'll fall. Graham for Kuro with the lasso. Cuckoo is dead without buyback. Nigma, they want to finish it. They brought back on GH and we are to really push this one to the end. The shackle, not to latch. Raven's healed up. He's ready to come back out and help out his team. They've lost Jimmy light back. Raven in with the abyssal. He's off to Weave in the mid-sky hill. The falls back. Weeha separated and saved. But they're so scared of this lifesteal Nigma. They brought back on 3 heroes, Nigma. They have to end it right now. A stun, Miracle, Lincoln's in park, Raven is out, Flame Gun is there for Miracle, he's trying to run a bash with there it is, bash for Raven, can he kill Miracle, another moment, Miracle, he's dead for one, they pop the ages, fortification used by GeeK fam, they're trying to hold on, can they do it, Nigma wants the game over and done with, Mike drop pop for attack, they're hitting the 8, they're closing the GG, and Nigma will finally be able to close up this game too, and with that take the series 2-0 against GeeK fam, and they are going onwards to the grand finals to face against RNG for that spot at the major.
What a game, man. That's going all in. You've got your buybacks, a crazy initiation from Cuckoo, but unfortunately, they kill only heroes that can immediately come right back into the fight. The pressure of the creeps was just way too much. Megas ultimately felt like the deciding factor, but credit to GeeK fam. They played with so much heart, holding on for so long.
GeeK fam seem to be one of the most entertaining teams to see lose a match because they lose in style. You know, they go out with a full fight. They give it their all, GeeK fam. It just isn't enough today. So hats off to them. I'm sure we'll see these boys next time round. Definitely a squad you can look at to continue to improve in the future. But for now, the stars of the moment, Nigma, they're moving on. They had a rough start here at the minor. The question is, Kyle, are they ready now?